you should read it because it does help out. And you've got the lunar phase simulator, and that's what I've got open here as well. Now this has questions about where the moon is and what the phase is. So what you can do is you can move the moon around. Now I'm not going to answer these questions exactly, but let's say the moon was over here. Then you would you'd move the moon over here, and then you'd look at the name of the phase, and it says new moon. But let's say the moon was up here in this position. So you just take the moon and you drag it, and it would be waning crescent. That would be the answer you would put. Now if it asked you, and it does ask you here, 5 days after that phase, what you do is you just go down here to the day and you just click on the +5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after 5 days it would be a new moon. So that's how you handle the positioning and the increments. Now the next one, it asks you to show the angle, so you can just click on the show angle here, and you move the moon around, and you look at the effect of the angle on the illumination. That's pretty easy. Okay, so turn that off. We'll move on to the next part. The next part, it seems like it's difficult, but it really isn't that bad. What you need to do is find out the rising and setting times of each of these phases. We'll start out with the new moon. So what I'll do is I'll put this in the new moon position. There we go. And there's this little dude here on the Earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the animation so you can see what happens to the little dude as he goes around. So he's in one place on the Earth, because the Earth is spinning, of course. And you'll notice the Earth spins in a counterclockwise direction. And that's going to be important as we go through this. So I'm going to stop the animation. I'll move this back to the new moon. And what we can do is we can actually grab onto this little dude, and we can watch what he does. Now remember, the moon moon's over there. Now the Earth is traveling in a counterclockwise direction, and the dude will be here. Now remember, the dude can only see the moon at this point, and then once the dude gets around to here, he can't see the moon anymore. So what's going to happen is he's going to see the moon rise right here. And we can actually look at that time. You can see it's about 6 a.m. or near enough to 6 a.m. So we move the dude around, and we can observe the local time, and it's around 6 p.m. And that's when he's going to see it set. He's not going to see the moon anymore once he goes around here, because the moon's on the other side of the planet. Alright, so we can move the moon now to another position. Let's say we we'll do first quarter. As you can see, it says first quarter up here. That's how you know what phase it is. And the dude is going to start, let's see, the moon is, the Earth is traveling around this way. And he will see the moon rise when he's right here, because that's when he'll start seeing it. And you'll see it's about, it's near enough to 12 p.m. And we keep on moving him around, and at this point he sees the moon set, and you'll see that it is going to be 12 a.m. So it rose at 12 p.m., it sets at 12 a.m., and that's what you would put. And you can do that for all of these different positions, and all you have to do is just make sure you've got the right phase of the moon here, and then you can write the times, just noticing where the little dude is at any given time. Alright, let's move on to the next part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a random latitude. I'm going to say, well, let's make it, we'll make it 80 degrees. And what we're going to investigate is what's going on at each of these different things. Now your answers are going to be different to this because I'm using a different latitude. You're going to put 35.5 in, obviously, and I'm using something else because I don't want to give you the same answers. So what it says here is, it says at 9 a.m. you notice the moon in position 5. So the time of day here is going to be listed here, and it says at at 9 a.m. you notice the moon in position 5. What is the moon phase? So what you can do is you can set the moon phase to position 5 to begin with. There it is. And then we can set the time of day here, and we'll set it to 9 a.m. We'll set it to 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. it says waning gibbous. So that would be my answer, waning gibbous. Alright, the next question to ask is, at what time of day would you see the full moon in position 2? So we'll move this back to position 2. And it says the full moon in position 2. At the moment we're seeing new moon. So what you can do then is you can move the time of day until you see full moon. And there you go. And it would be visible at about 9 p.m. and that would be your answer. All right, number 7 says at 10:30 p.m. you notice a waxing gibbous moon. What is the moon position? All right, this is a little bit more difficult because it actually won't set for 10:30. You have to drag it a little bit and see this. So what I'll do is I will have to move this a bit. Waxing gibbous. We're pretty close to 10:30 p.m. here. It says 9 p.m. So I'm just going to move this a little bit. Then you can note what the moon position is, and as you can see it's in position 3 because that's what it says there. I can't release this because otherwise it will go away, but you have to drag this physically to 10:30, and it has to say the phase of the moon has to say waxing gibbous because that's what it says in the question, and then you can just write down what the moon position is, and it would be in position 3. Okay, it's asking here, would you be able to see a new moon at midnight? Alright, so what you can do is you can, let's see if it's it's at midnight, that's what you want it to be. You want this to be at midnight. And you can investigate whether or not you could see the new moon at midnight. And the thing is that at this point it looks like the moon is nowhere to be seen. It's certainly not above the horizon. So the answer to that would be no, you could not see the new moon at midnight. Where is the moon? I can't even see it here on the diagram. Let's see if we can figure out when the new moon would be available for you to see. We're at a pretty high latitude, so the new moon doesn't even appear very much. But you can see here. Let's have a look. Let's go back to the new moon. Sorry. All right, and we can look at the time of day we could expect to see the new moon. And it's only available for a fairly short time span, I think. Can't even see it. So yeah, so the new moon wouldn't be available at midnight there. Okay, what time would you be able to see the full moon? So what you would do is you make this the full moon. There we go. And then we can see at what time of day we would be able to see the full moon. And from what I can see, you've got to be able to move this time around and keep it on full moon. And it would be like 3:19 a.m. back to probably about 2:40 a.m. So only a fairly limited time. So 2:40 a.m. to 3:19 a.m. and that would be the time range. And I'm just doing that by just dragging this toggle here to figure out the time. Alright, so that's about it.